Hello, guys. Um, this is another episode of the North American Online League Review Night. Okay, so today we have our three games of today. We are right here. We will review these three games. Okay. Okay. So that's a plan. Let's go in. Okay. Okay. First game. Let's go in order. Um, Joshua Larson. Okay, looks good, looks good. Okay, we are good to go. Okay, game between a one dan and a one Q player. Again, as we may have mentioned before, um, this is the stage of the development of the Go player where we start almost remembering most of our games for the game, most of our moves for the game. Okay, let's see how this is played. Very reasonable Josekis to begin the game. Black has some more outside influence, and white has more solid territory. This move is recommended. Okay, and this jump, this is expanding on black's influence here. Very reasonable thing to do. And white plays a very AI-esque Sansan Joseki move, very reasonable too. This is also a very good move. Next move, it aims at this jump, which uh, is making black's corner very, very weak. So black responds. Okay, again, very reasonable. White defends, black also defends. And now black jumps. Very good. Um, this sideways jump is a very efficient move. And just remember that this jump is always a very good move. And the follow-up to this shape is to attach right here. Um, if your opponent goes for your stone, then you capture the outside stones. And otherwise, your opponent has to allow you um, to turn, to save this one stone back, and black will have not enough ice space on the corner. So a good rule of thumb for any attack and defense situation like this is if your group, how do you tell if your group is in a good state? If the territory or if the little bit of a um, your house, if your house is big enough, then you're comfortable. And the rule of thumb is if you don't have to make your two eyes, then you're comfortable. Um, now, how do you tell if you can, not save your eye making moves? That's basically the 10-point rule is a very good one to follow. If your group has about 10 points, that would be ideal. There is no way you have to make two eyes with 10 points. And if it's your opponent's play, they counter you, they reduce your 10 points to 7 or 8 points. Still, you don't have to make your two ice spaces. So generally, a potential of 10 points or something about 10 points is good enough, and that's the ideal thing you want to do to defend your group. Here, does black have 10 points? No. So there's not enough ice space for two eyes, therefore black is uncomfortable. That's how you can, um, that's a quick way of telling. Okay, in the game white played this move, a very provocative move, a very thought-provoking move. So noticeably black is able to make this cut or this other cut here. But because black is also kind of weak on the right-hand side, black did not go for this. And now having two cuts is almost the same as having one cut because your opponent can only play one move at a time. Due to this, white is allowing two cuts to happen, and in this sort of effect, White basically is able to get a very, very overly efficient shape, which props to White for coming up with this strategy, a very daring strategy. Okay, a very daring tactic. And so in the game, Black defends, so we can understand why if White cuts Black, there's two weaknesses, weak group positions to both sides. And just playing here connects the two weaknesses and creates territory, so it makes perfect sense. And remember, is this more than 10 points? Clearly there's more than 10 spaces here, so it's more than big enough. So the game continues with White taking out, um, cutting over here, and then now a big fight erupts. This kind of cut, basically, you're committed to cutting here, or else, you know, your attachment is going to be very bad. Um, yeah, for sure, we're basically committing to this cut. Um, Next, a very likely scenario is that we give up the close fighting over here, or those stones, and then we destroy the side, we make enough ice space, and if black captures the two and we capture these four, this seems like a pretty good result for white. So on the surface, it seems like white doesn't have much to worry about um, from this cut. And if black backs off, this extend is a very nice um, netting capture of that one black stone. Of course, this Atari will not help. Um, this is all black is clearly the one in much, much more danger than white. So the game allows black to capture this stone and stabilize the game. So the game continues. Okay, this turn is a very aggressive move. Um, if white, at this time, black does not have two ice spaces, and white, remember that 10-point rule, this is close to 10 points, so white is not afraid of something like this. Black reduces white's points, but white still has 6 or 7 points and is very, very safe. So in the game, white does respond, okay? Does white also connect? So white kind of chickens out of this fight. Again, this is a big move, so it's also very reasonable. And white has a next move, which is extending here, threatening these three, and then capturing this one stone. So white is overall in a very good position at this time. Okay. Black making this extension very, very reasonable. And note how that 10-point rule for settling your groups almost always comes into effect. And this one, if white just plays a normal attacking move like the following, this is 9 points or 9 spaces. So this is very, very good. Hello. Um,
Hello? Can you
yeah,
share
yeah.
the screen? I don't see anything but
Ah,
the black screen.
yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Just to
Let's.
join the
Yeah, yeah,
Vincenzo's mom, I'm gonna wait to get him in when his video is started,
yeah.
but then I don't see anything.
Yeah. Okay. Seems good. So now you guys should be able to
Okay,
see
yes.
the game screen. Good. Okay. So most important thing for this game, remember the 10 points rule, or the 10 points indicator. If your group is very comfortable if it's surrounding something close to 10 points. So in this case, white's corner, very comfortable, black's corner, comfortable, white's corner here, comfortable, black's side, comfortable. Okay, um, okay. So now, everyone has something close to 10 points, which means there's nothing too pressing for anyone to play. This middle is the push and cut is a weakness, so maybe white would want to play this block to prevent that weakness from happening. and then and then playing the rest. This is a little more double-edged in the sense that white has a cut, but also black has more is a little more problematic as well. Again, the most pressing thing is to save this one stone, threaten the three stones, and then cutting this middle stone off, and then uh, really strengthening white's center like this. Remember the 10 points rule, capturing this one stone gets you much closer to comfort. Okay. Um, okay, so in the game, black pushes out here, and white has two potential groups to worry about, and white harness makes sense. Um, yes, and here finally white plays this move, yep. Um, one dance will never miss this move. And then the next cut, it again threatens more cuts, so this is all very happy. Um, this is all a very happy situation for white. Okay, black could not bear to keep defending here and allowing white to profit in Sente, so black counterattacks. This does make sense, but after black plays here, what does he do when white Ataris? Um, so this has the potential to again uh, uh, shift the balance of the attack in this local shape. Um, Okay, let's see how they did this in the actual game. This peep is another very strong move. White may be aiming at this Atari and then this move. Here, white is going to have one more liberty than black. So this is a very dangerous situation for black. And this second line Atari is a must-play move. Therefore, white captures one Ponuki shape in Sente. This seems like a big success for white. Next, push and cut. Um, Cutting here is a safer cut. It will force black to cut there, and then white can basically capture the middle two stones. This overall is a pretty successful fight for white. In the game, white went for a um, uh, more double-edged, more offensive fight, which is cutting off a bigger chunk. And now black is gonna save the middle stones, and white is gonna run out this group as well. So this game has just gotten very exciting. And so when things are exciting, it is important to remember the weakest group rule or the weakest group indicator. It is almost always most important to play where the weakest group on the board is. In this case, the black group weaker than the white group, but these are definitely the two weakest groups on this board. So makes sense that fighting will continue in the middle for a while. Okay, okay, very reasonable. Black has completed a wraparound. White likely has to make two eyes, but white has tanukied and played an h14, which is a big point move as well. So here is a good point for white to try to win this following ko. Find a ko threat and then try to win this ko. It would be very important. Suppose white is able to find a threat and then is able to get this next threat in Sente. Then white almost has his two eyes, or almost has the 10 points that we keep talking about today, right? So um, right now is a good time for white to try to at least get the first Atari move in Sente. So in the game, black played this turn, so white is now having to make his two eyes, and in a relatively uncomfortable manner. Um, yeah, that definitely tried to live more comfortably than this. In the game, when black connects, white tenukied and then saved, made two eyes with this group. and allowed black to play this to play on the bottom. So giving up a lot of value, and this way, um, of course, white would, uh, you know, for sure would rather prefer not to have to play like this. Um, Again, try to get that Atari. Okay, okay. This Hane is nowhere, is clearly not going to be as big as playing this move and then saving the bottom. If your group is already alive, that group is for sure already very, very strong. Uh, don't have to keep strengthening your strong groups. Okay, so um, yeah, overall, Black was able to turn the middle, relatively even fight situation into a very um, uh, Black was able to wrap around and then surround White, forcing White to live and make two eyes. Um, the key to this fighting was White moved out over here um, with a few moves and then played this H15 move, whereas White probably would have done better if White played on the other side. So play here, maybe play this double Hane. This way, Black is in a lot of trouble. Um, Even if White does not totally seal in Black, even if White just does something like this, remember this is against Sente. Um, White, because White captured a stone earlier, White is not under threat, and this way White can defend the big group in Sente. So um, in the game, White did not play where the weaker group is. White played instead where the stronger group is, and ended up doing, White moved out with a stronger group, did not move out with a weaker group, and ended up losing a move because losing a move uh, um, that making two eyes move um, on the inside, which really made White behind in this game. So very unfortunate. Um, okay. Um, yeah, and now probably White is a little bit desperate to try to get back. But um, this fighting is Black is much, much stronger in this location. Um, so this cut is for sure not going to work. And also later Black can just Atari and capture this one stone. So after this was captured and this bottom, did it live? It lived, but overall White's position collapsed. Um, Basically, a snowball effect of losing two tempo moves in the middle here, um, um, and that snowballed into a very big defeat. Very good fighting by Black. Again, remember, guys, the weakest group principle matters very much. White initially had a very advantageous fight in this location, but later, because White kept making moves um, where White was already very, very strong, um, just think about it. White playing here is Sente, and now this group is already totally alive. What more are you making by playing in the middle here, right? Whereas if you're moving out on the bottom side, you're saving your big group while you're attacking. So that's the first major issue. The secondly, if White was able to get that Atari, force Black to capture, White may have had a much more comfortable life. That would have saved the bottom territory for White, and this is where the snowball sort of rolled over the entire board. Um, White losing the bottom territory made White desperate, which also made the bottom territory Black territory, and um, black also took the corner territory as a result. So the end was a big win by black. Um, yeah, well played. Um, but both players did show some very good fighting. Okay, let's go on to our next game. This game is between um, Jerry from UCSD and another Jerry. Interesting. Okay, these two players are uh, 9Q and 1Q. Wow, so that's the on the surface it looks like a very unfair fight, but this is just their OGS rankings. Let's assume that both of them are around 1Q. Okay, weakest group principle almost always applies, and nowhere does this apply more than in the Josekis. So the overall pattern for the opening sequences is basically um, both groups are very, very weak. It is very important to play here. And then once the Joseki or the opening pattern settles, both sides have now become not the weakest on the board, and then you go on to other things. Okay, and so here white takes a corner, black takes a bit of the side, so both sides have settled, and the game goes on to the other parts of the board. Okay, and right here, white is not very strong on the top, white is not very strong on the bottom, so white plays here, making both sides much, much stronger. And black's corner is also very strong and very solid already. So now we go on to other things. Weakest group principle, or the weakest group indicator, is where the next few moves are going to be played. Okay. Um, okay. Looks like they all play variations of the same Joseki over and over. And here, in this fighting, looks so black has more stones in this area. It makes sense that black has somewhat the upper hand in this area. And here, yeah, white is having to sacrifice the Panuki shape. This is a very big game by black. So something else that white could have done makes this Hane, um, make this connect. If you want, you can make this move and then uh, threaten black, and that would allow you to also move out in a very comfortable way. Okay, this is heavily advantageous for black. However, black messes up here, goes for the um, goes for the two stones. Clearly, he assumes that white will connect, and then he would block that off. But incidentally, this shape, um, uh, this shape, as long as either of these two points are in Atari, there is no way for the defender to survive here. Here, here, this is going to be a dead shape. If you and that Atari is important because um, right now this is the strongest move to try to survive, and then if that happens, if this is an Atari, this is a Sente, and black has time to destroy the other eye. So big mistake by black, and white takes the opportunity to save the majority of the stones. And overall, the game stabilizes. Black still is likely in a better position due to that Panuki. Um, okay, and here is a another case where overall on the board, black is much stronger than white. This Panuki shape group has more stones, more ice space, and more influence than the two white stones over here. The white territory on the right-hand side is also invadable, so it is more important for it is more important for white to defend the right-hand side territory than to counterattack against black, what anything like that. So saving the two stones is much too small. The outside Panuki stone is much bigger than those two stones. Um, just watch being having cut the black corner from the outside, the black corner is still totally alive, and the outside is still um, basically connected, and there's nothing that white can reasonably attack right now. So a better thing to do is to extend or to connect, allow the two stones to perish, and surround the right-hand side where the big territory is. Um, Remember, when you're weaker than your opponent, you want to mutually surround your half. And if you have to surround less than half, you would still prefer it. Go is a very realistic competition. There's no like fairness. Well, there's fairness according to your dispositions. There's no fairness like everyone should have 50-50. Okay, okay. So this exact thing happened in the game, and black got a lot of the south side influence. Um, okay, and black plays this jump, connecting the corner to this side, and you can see this big bag shape starting to form. Um, One very helpful pointer, guys, with any of these big moyos is that you want to identify parts of the board where you have thickness in your moyo, and you want to identify the other parts which is relatively weakest. And again, this is a variation of the weakest group, um, um, hypothesis, or the weakest group effect, which is you want to surround your moyo where your weakest group or weakest position is, and play away from your strongest positions on the value. So this echoes that famous saying, don't surround territory with your thickness. Therefore, um, it makes all the more sense to be surrounding from your weakest part of your moyo. So right now, black's top, black's middle are both very strong, and they're pretty much connected. Relatively weakest part of the moyo is the left-hand side, the bottom group. So a move here would be good. A peep here, a shoulder hit here would both be good. Some more moves here would also be good. The game jump is also fine, but a slight addition, a slight edit to the jump twice, jump 2 spaces, get yourself a little bit farther away from your thickness and closer to where you're weak, um, because you want to be inviting this kind of fighting where the fighting occurs next to your strengths. Um, okay, so in the game this happened, and this knight's move is a very good example because you have many cutting points no matter what. We prefer to have less cutting points rather than more cutting points. So this shape has a little bit of a weakness, and this little bit of a weakness is going to be white's ticket to destroying the moyo. And note how this fight is happening near the part of the moyo where black is weakest, the left-hand side. So that's another um, unfortunate development for black. Okay. Yeah, again, the fighting is developing closer and closer to the weakest areas for black. So um, Again, this is where black is surrounding territory with the thickness, so a better way to go is to push along the bottom side, or extend but do not make the Ataris, and then defend your weaknesses and allow white to just run, and then you can give chase, you can make big points here, you can invade on the right hand side, many different options. In the game, black committing here, lots and lots of things went wrong. White, because the fighting occurred near the weakest part of the black moyo, and because black throughout this process has just single-mindedly attacked white and did not um, did not defend black's weaknesses, the inevitable happened, and white captured this black group. So this is very, very bad. This is a very bad development for black. Um, you can remember strengthening the weakest part of your moyo is much, much more important than strengthening the strongest part of your thickness. Um, Therefore, you know, go develop your moyo from your weak area and play far away from your stronger area. Okay, so this game is exactly um, shows exactly the wrong thing to do uh, when surrounding a moyo. You want to strengthen the weakest part and push the fight towards your stronger parts of your moyo. In this game, exactly the opposite happened. Black pushed from the stronger part and pushed the fighting into the weaker part. And he's paying the ultimate price. Um, okay, okay. So um, this invasion or this reduction is a little bit deep. And again, remember what we want to do. We want to take the fight to the weakest part of the black moyo of your opponent's moyo, which is here probably. You can capture 2 stones in Sente. This further reduces black, and if he, you know, this is a part where you can do some damage. And secondly, you want when black is clearly stronger overall, you want to surround your half, even if your half is a much smaller half, something like this. Going in deeply allows the fighting again to move towards where black is strongest on the board. And um, this gives black the opportunity to come back in the game or to take a big lead in the game. Um, because black gained so much earlier, it's not clear that white's gain on the left-hand side totally makes up for the losses. Okay, so this move is very deep, and now black plays here, trying to engulf white in a very big major way. Another tactic for black is to first start fighting on the right hand side. Um, this is a very good tactic, needless to say. You start complications on other parts of the board where your opponent is unable to tanuki, and after um, for example, if black plays here, this whole right-hand side is totally cut off. The only escape path is towards the bottom, and it's also easy to cut off there. Okay, so in the game, a very similar thing happened. The only difference is after black plays here, it is white's turn to take care of the middle. White greedily defends the right-hand side first. I like it, very good. And now white comes back here. So it feels like black could have played like half a move faster. Although, overall white is still in some trouble in the game. White goes into the middle, and here the key was black does not extend here that would have allowed white to survive by making two eyes. Um, Another move you could consider is to Atari like this, and then um, it'll depend on you know, what this bottom situation is. This is again very unclear. Okay, wow, this is really going for the capture. Okay, but this looks like white has just survived. Uh, Unfortunate for black. Um, yeah. So instead of trying to single purposefully attack the invading white stones, one, you can just directly cut off the escape path. If you choose an indirect method, try to play something that's sente on the right hand side, something like this where you're engaging against this other part. This is a way that you can get lots and lots of exchanges, which is lots and lots of reinforcements. So just imagine if you had just one move, another move, just the simplest moves like this, and then we play here and force white to run towards the lower right corner where we have made many different uh, preparatory moves. This would be a much easier capture against white. Okay, and in the game it was just a little bit just not. It was close, but just not enough. Um, okay, so white surviving here, presumably this is gonna end the game in white's favor. And overall, black was unable to, between the left-hand side big losses and the not capturing the middle, black lost all the lost chances of winning this game. Um, some more ideas. Um, when you're capturing something, it is very, very helpful to play um, moves that um, really capture, and then you fully use your thicknesses. So, for example, here, when white pushes, don't block white, just move back like this. When white attaries here, don't save that one stone, just we're committed to this, might as well, just go for it. This way it could be a little more um, complicated. And why stop at this move? Why not extend there? This way you're making great use of your thickness with this wall. You want to push, you want to make your opponent play as much near your strengths as possible. So if you block here, then you have made your moves next to your thickness, which is exactly what you do not want. Yeah, so this why stop at just extending back? Why not go even further forward? So something like this, when you guys are committed to capturing, it is very, very important to use all of your strengths as much as possible. Your thickness, um, your worry-free strength, your worry-free positions, your strongholds, that kind of position, and then play away from there. Use those parts as a base where you can form a surround from the other side. Um, okay, another very, very exciting game. Okay, and let's take a look at the last one. Oh, this is a short one. Very interesting. Okay, let's see how this fighting occurred. Played here, here, here. Okay, seems very reasonable. This is a very old Joseki. Um, um, Nowadays, um, but it pretty much is even. This is a very old one indeed. Okay, okay, like Ataris, and now white takes a corner. Um, Remember our 10 points rule. White's corner has at least 9, so this group passes for a strong group. This definitely is strong. So next, black has two groups. They do not pass the 10 points test yet, but um, black is clearly not weak. Okay, so this is very reasonable. This is also pincering against that one white stone. So two reasonable things for white to do. One is to play something like this pincer, which is also invading. Another thing is to defend the corner, and another one is to move out with this stone, which significantly weakens black's position on top. Weakest group principle at work. Okay, black white jumps, a peep, and a knight's move. Another reasonable, another reasonable move. White plays the Sansan. Okay, okay, a very reasonable extension. So this way, black has a pretty good position over here. Um, Overall, on the game, white has this one stone, and white has pretty solid shapes. So right now, moving this stone out is still big, despite black having the first move in this area. When it puts pressure against black, for example, if white hunts, black has to immediately try to survive. Secondly, it destroys the side territory. And thirdly, when black moves out along with white, because white's corner was already very much worry-free, black's moves here are not going to surround much or threaten much. Okay, so in the game, white played the first knight's move, also very, very reasonable. And black jumps out. Um, this is a very good invasion point. This is um, We can clearly see that white is attacking black's eye shape here, and if white was able to move this stone up, for example here, something like um, something like this, where black space is now gone. This could be a very big trouble for black. If black plays here and you say white blocks, and then um, if something like this happens, this black is under severe danger. Okay. Another thing for white to do is to play this jump. And here, with these two cutting points, and no matter where black cuts, white will capture the other one. And this way, white can destroy some territory or at least make half of the position alive. And if black carries the other way, then this is a very satisfactory result for white over here locally. Okay, so in the game white harness, this does run into this Atari, which now white is in a bit of trouble because the extent was not made. Um, this becomes a Panuki, and this is very strong for black, and it's Sente for black, and um, white only captures a very small amount of territory in the corner. So, and if white connects, there's no way to save these stones, and black has a very comfortable capture. So when this happened, white is basically forced to do this exchange, um, and remember, white ran out one with a move beforehand, so losing. So now white is losing two stones and all the territory that comes with two stones instead of just one. Um, okay. This connect is very, very good. When you're capturing something, it is very important for your own positions to be as strong as possible, and this connect does exactly that. Okay, so now white has to connect, and black is able to surround on the outside with a very strong netting attack. Um, Big trouble for white. Um, yeah, and in the game, white was not able to come up with an effective defense. Um, okay, this seems good, but black is gonna Atari. Perhaps this is the last chance for black to for white to escape. Atari and then throw in here. Um, White saves at least some of this position. For black, maybe the best move is to, again, when you're attacking and trying to capture, the most important thing to get rid of is the counter attack. And this way, white still will not be able to live. This Atari allows this throw-in to occur. This one. Um, and that's white's ticket home. So, okay, yeah, this was White's last opportunity to save the group. After this, there should not be any more chances. Okay, okay. White is making a very good attempt at it. Um, oh, a Tanuki, a very, very solid attempt. However, the because the right hand side, the right hand middle and the top is so super solid, black has just one weakness, and generally you need more than one weakness to win, to survive. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, this was the only thing that that white could have done to to survive here, but still overall in the game because of how thick this outside black position is, it's still heavily favored for black. Yeah, this is not only a lot of thickness, it's also a lot of territory too, and this right hand side is just uh, yeah, it's just way too much. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this set of game reviews. Remember some very helpful pointers. The 10-point rule for taking care of your groups, and um, the weakest group principle. Play around the weakest group on the board. Um, they will almost always be the most important things that you do on the board. Okay, um, hope you guys enjoyed watching this one. Um, these were relatively quick reviews. Um, all right, enjoy your games. Um, have a good one. See you guys in the next series, in the next set. Okay, see you guys.